So today is kind of sort of one of those rare days in which old J Stamp 4 has some kind of good news. But it's not, that's why I say kind of sort of, because it's not quite done yet. Still got some hurdles to pass. One in particular. What I'm talking about, we all know Ron Paul is no longer in Congress. He's retired. But he kind of left a little bit of a legacy behind when he put forward that bill, the Audit the Fed bill, that didn't quite make it, right? So the bill was lingering around for all these last couple years or so, and is now, or has gone in for a vote as of yesterday and succeeded. It went through. So now it has to go to the Senate, where naturally everyone says, oh, well, great. Now it's got to go through Harry Reid, sorry, but, and it'll, probably get killed there. So I started thinking about all this, and you got to remember something Lindsey Williams said, right? And I'm talking like, what was it, December of last year, when he talked about this. They didn't call it a devaluation of the dollar or currencies. They called it a revaluation. He mentioned there's 100 and some odd countries that have already agreed behind closed doors with us as well, that they're going to allow the IMF / World Bank and friends to basically revalue everybody's dollar, everybody's currency, based off of that country's assets. And again, they've all agreed, but there has to be a big announcement that says, hey, we're revaluing our currency based off of such and such, and United States is going to be having a speech. He said you're going to hear the president come out and talk about it, and it should be within about 4 months or so, whatever it was, right? 3 or 4 months. So let's just say, and again, I think it was like in November when he actually said it, because in my poor remembering mind with all the stuff I'm trying to shove in there, I believe it should have happened by, say, February, maybe March at the latest of this year, which is way long gone. Never happened. So you can see this whole ISIS, we gotta go after ISIS, and now we're gonna go into Syria now. And what else happened yesterday? I think it was also yesterday or the day before. They passed. House has agreed, Congress, for funding to come up with money we don't have to fund Syrian rebels. And we're also talking about, oh, by the way, Syria, we're going to have some limited strikes, airstrikes and whatnot, in your country without your permission, because we think ISIL / ISIS / whatever the hell you want to call them, make up a name, is there, kind of like we did with Pakistan and Afghanistan and Iraq. We just kind of came in there and there's some bad guys here, we're going to find them, we're staying as long as we want. Never found those bad guys, just kept hearing little stories. We struck today and hit more civilians, and we struck again and hit some more civilians, and we think we got one bad guy though, so that justifies it. So we're trying to do the same thing in Syria. Why? Because something else Lindsey Williams said came true, which was that in October of 2010 he said that there's going to be a Middle East uprising starting in Egypt, etc. It's exactly what happened, except they've now overthrown the guy we put in power, so that didn't quite go as planned. He mentioned it'd go to Yemen and Libya, and then Syria, maybe one other country, I can't remember, and then Saudi Arabia, and then when it goes there, the oil prices will skyrocket like you can't believe, and we're going to have to devalue our currency, and because we can't afford the high oil prices, they're going to be upset. The rest of the Middle East is going to be upset because they're now holding a bag of worthless US dollars because we've just majorly devalued them, and we blamed it on the high oil prices, and they're going to pump our media up about it, Middle Eastern high oil prices. But the issue here, by the way, this is a little bonus material, the Middle East doesn't set the price of oil. The gas companies, oil companies, don't set the price of oil. Damn it! Wall Street does. Wall Street / the COMEX futures exchange sets the price of a barrel of gasoline every day with pieces of paper in which no gas is actually ever exchanged. Just bets on the price of gas are exchanged, known as futures contracts. But our media is not going to go there. Our media is going to be, hey, gas prices, Middle East gas price. That's what you're going to hear. So then they're going to tell us, sorry, we don't want to sell you gas anymore because we don't like you anymore, America. And we're going to say, oh no. Oh, wait a minute. We've got a massive supply of oil we found in Alaska. It's the same massive oil supply we've known about for the last 40 plus years that Lindsey Williams found out about when he was off of that area, Gull Island, what used to be, as he said, used to be called Gull Island, Alaska. And he also came out, again, about a couple years ago, and said, look up the USS Liberty oil rig. It's being towed across the ocean right now up to Alaska to be set on standby in the spot I told you guys about that had this massive pool of oil in early 1970s, waiting for the events to take place, waiting for the agenda to continue. So I'm seeing all this happening, right? For a reason. And I think possibly part of the reason could be as far as the devaluation, revaluation, whatever, of the dollar. They may make the Federal Reserve look really, really bad. So what better timing than right now to start passing a bill such as Ron Paul's, nonetheless, Audit the Fed bill. And it's going to make the Fed probably look bad. Oh my gosh, oh, look at what they've been doing. Perfectly timed with this devaluation thing. And their solution to keep us happy about the whole situation, because they're going to now pump news into your ears, which I've already seen started, by the way, about how good it is. I read this yesterday from a New York Times piece, so you know it's the elite spokesperson. Strong dollar policy used to be good. Weak dollar policy actually seems better nowadays. You become really a lot more competitive in the open market and manufacturing and all these things. It's actually a good thing. So now they're getting you ready for that. Strong dollar goes away. Weak dollar is good for you. Right. So I personally, I can't see, it wouldn't surprise me if Harry Reid tried to stop this Audit the Fed bill. If it goes through and Harry Reid doesn't even really try to stop it, or you don't really, it's like, wow, that was so funny, it went right through, and it goes through and passed and is passed as law, then they're just doing what they're told. And this whole time they've been waiting. What else happened very recently? Is it Darrell Issa, I think? I don't know if he's a House or Senate, House congressman or a Senate, in the Senate. But he kind of has this little thing going on standby of this auditing, or not necessarily auditing, investigation of the commodities market for, you guessed it, price manipulation. And once again, that brings up oil, gold and silver, wheat, corn, coffee beans, soy, all commodities. And let's just see what happens with that, because all this stuff starts happening together, and we found major problems. Come on, we're going to reset all this stuff. The rest of the world might have already told us, look, we're willing to revalue our currency along with you guys. We don't have to do that, but we're willing to do it. But you're going to have to stop this manipulation crap where everything you do is about you guys, the U.S. Keeping your strong dollar policy. It's time to let it go and everything else, which means the prices of these items have to no longer be manipulated. So we probably say, okay, we agree. So now all of a sudden there's going to be these investigations. We're going to find all this startling information. Oh my God, what are we going to do about it? So now the next question remains, Are we really going to try and relinquish that price control mechanism when it is so important? Or are we just going to tell these other countries behind closed doors, yeah, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And look, we're having an investigation coming up. We're going to audit the Fed. All right, see? We're working with you guys. We told you we do these things. And then, of course, they hire a special commission that does nothing but look like they did something and they found nothing. Or they find a few things, right? They find a few things that's newsworthy. Oh, and we're going to recommend these changes to the law and the rules and regulations of the Federal Reserve, as well as the Commodities Futures Exchange, or CME Group as well, Commodities Mercantile Exchange. And they'll pass these little bogus laws where, okay, we've made some changes, and really they didn't change anything. I don't think it matters, because China and boys and friends don't care. Don't think they want to be part of that revaluation process anyways, and are starting their own system, their own power structure amongst themselves. And China, as a matter of a couple of days ago, I believe, literally just about 2 days ago, has opened up another metals exchange, the Shanghai Gold Exchange. They already had the silver, now they've opened a gold. You don't suppose, as I've been saying and screaming for a long time now, they're getting ready to take over all this stuff. We'll be setting the price soon. You guys, America, keep them prices low for us while we scoop it up. We need some more silver and gold. Matter of fact, we are running dangerously low on our silver supply right now. We need to go shopping. And $18+ silver. Oh, thank you so much, America. Because when we take over, the pricing mechanisms will be when we have all of the gold and silver we feel comfortable with. And then we will kick your system to the curb and let the true price of gold and silver come out. It only benefits China if the price of gold and silver goes way high. So you wouldn't want the prices to go way high if you were China right now while you're still collecting tons and tons of it, would you? No. Trust me, they're not upset about the price of gold and silver right now. Would you be upset about if you had something that you need right now to sell later and it's dirt cheap right now and you're like the biggest buyer in the world? Would you be upset? No, you'd be like, hey, this is like a blessing from God. This is great. And then, okay, we've got plenty. You guys ready? Yep, we're okay. You guys have been manipulating the price all these years. It's really cheap. We don't want you to set the price anymore. Matter of fact, you're irrelevant. We're going to set the price. And if China lets a free market happen in their gold and silver exchange, once they stop, the world stops looking at our exchange as the price setter. And all of a sudden China says, well, our gold is way more expensive than what the U.S. says it is today. Our silver is way more expensive than what the U.S. says today. Every miner in the world will instantaneously, overnight, say, screw you guys, we're going to China. We're selling our precious metals to China. Why do you think I'm going to stay here with America's prices set on, the COMEX that say it's worth crap today, when I can go to China and it's worth way more? See ya. And they go and instantly get the reason they can't do this all at once right now, because there's no other mechanism that actually sets the price. And if they as in the miners, the producers, were to go to their buyers and say, look, we think the COMEX, the whole American system is rigging the price of gold and silver, and we are one of the largest miners in the world. We don't feel that price is accurate. Today we need to change the price from $1,200 and something of gold to $1,600. That's the new price. They're gonna tell that person, we'll find another mine. We'll find another company, thanks, and go where it's cheaper. The buyer always wants it cheaper. The seller always wants it more expensive. The buyer has the United States government / bankers on its side, because they don't want the price going up, because it becomes a competing currency in the eyes of people. It becomes very valuable in the eyes of people, and they don't want people looking at or focusing or buying gold and silver. So what do? Let's just stick this knife in and turn it a little bit via the price drop. Let these people feel this pain, and then every time they do that, as I mentioned, double-edged sword. That double-edged sword is the fact that people are buying massively right now gold and silver because of the fire sale prices. So the lower they push the price, the larger amount of people go out and buy, so huge amounts of gold and silver are depleted. The price rises, that slowly settles down. The price rises too fast, it actually causes a stampede, because then people's mindset goes from, oh my God, I got to get it now before it goes up even higher. So then there's another double-edged sword. I wish these bankers a lot of luck, because they're going to have some trouble here in the near future. Take care.